So yesterday we talked about some Transformers bot listings that were found in the UPC archive of Walmart. Today we have even more listings, but they're not that of Transformers bots, but our other future Transformers television series in Season 4 of Transformers Cyberverse. Now, we talked about these guys back in January. There was a whole bunch of different listings and prices. We had our Ultimate Class Season 4 Volcanicus. We don't know if that's going to be a Dinobot combiner, but at $52.39, something's going to go on with that little set. We have an Ultimate Class Season 4 Hot Rod. Again, another $52.99 kind of thing. I hope it's good. It's Hot Rod. It's going to be that Cyberverse aesthetic at 50-something bucks. It better be good. And we had a whole bunch of other stuff. Ultra classes, deluxes, a whole different kind of price point in that of the Roll and Combine and the Roll and Transform assortment. Today we're going to discuss what is in those assortments and their price points, and of course some new additions to this line. Some new stuff for today. And an interesting one at the end of everything too, unrelated to Cyberverse, that was also found in this UPC database of Walmart. So let's jump into that. First thing we have here is Transformers Cyberverse Warrior Class Season 4 Snarl. Now, what's interesting about that is it pretty much indicates that we will be continuing the Warrior Class price point going into that of Cyberverse. Up to this point, we had no indication that Warrior was going to continue as a price point. We were seeing all these deluxe price points, which in all honesty, that's what the fans prefer more, because the deluxe price point, while it is a little more expensive, puts a little more bells and whistles and paint and gives us a better sculpt of the characters from the show. But it looks like we're still getting Warrior Class. And in the case of Snarl here, the Stegosaurus of the Dinobots, this is going to be his debut figure for this line. And what this tells us right now is Sludge, the Brontosaurus, is going to be an Ultra Class. The deluxe is going to be Slug, aka Slag, is going to be the deluxe one. So I guess the podcast one, the Slag is going to be the best version, the deluxe. And it seems that the Warrior Class is going to be dedicated to Snarl. Now, will these be in scale with each other? Will they work? Or will we see others of these in the future at different price points? We don't know. We do know that we have a kind of assortment here called Dinobot Defenders and Dinobot Strikers. We don't know how those are related. Supposedly they're multi-packs. That's a whole other conversation for the future. Either way, all we know is that that's how we're going to be getting our Dinobots. Obviously, Grimlock has been in all kinds of different price points and assortments over the past couple of years, and we have no indication yet of where Swoop is going to belong in this, if there is going to be a Swoop at all, and what price point he will be in. That being said, we also have a Cyberverse Warrior Class Season 4 Dead End. Now, Dead End, up to this point, the only real decent figure that he had was that of his Scout/Legends class from Cyberverse, and we all know how those are. Those have the half transformations, don't really have an alt mode, and they're kind of messy. They're kind of low budget, and they are what they are. It is what it is. So if you're someone who's a fan of this character, he was featured pretty predominantly in Season 3. This will be a nice little upgrade, and because it's a Warrior Class, at least you're guaranteed that he will have a decent alt mode. Just he probably won't be 100% the best figure he could be, as opposed to, say, if he was the Deluxe class like that of Slug here, that's also planned for Season 4, and Cheetor that's actually also planned for the Season 4 line that we discussed back in January. Now then, let's jump into these new assortments. In January, we talked about the Roll and Combine assortment and the Roll and Transform assortment. These were priced at $24.88, and we didn't know how they work or what's the story with them. We speculated that, but we do have now indications of what characters they will be. So we have Roll and Transform Optimus Prime and Roll and Transform Bumblebee. How will these work? We don't know. Is it going to be something like the Generation 2 roll stuff where you had the auto rollers where you rolled them across the ground and they just kind of slowly transformed as they sat up? Are they going to be like, let's say, the jump starters where you pull them back and they transform after rolling across the table? There's one of many different ways that this could work. It's some kind of auto-transforming gimmick that involves rolling, and it involves Optimus Prime, and it involves Bumblebee. Maybe it's not for you, it's probably not for me either, but this is the gimmick stuff that exists within the Cyberverse line that makes a glut of it that most of us collectors are not interested in, but clearly someone's buying it, so it exists. Then we have the roll and combine gimmick, or the roll and combine assortment here. Again, $24.88 is the MSRP price. And we have 3 characters. We have Megatron, we have Bumblebee again, and we have Wheeljack. Now, when we say roll and combine, is it going to be 2 separate vehicles that combine to make a robot mode, like let's say the dual cons? Is it going to be something where we're missing the name of a character here, and it might be like roll and combine Megatron with Starscream, and they combine together to make a larger robot, similar to that of, let's say, the Crash combiners that we had in Robots in Disguise 2015? We don't know. All we know, we have a roll and combine Megatron, a Bumblebee, and a Wheeljack. And that Megatron, is it Megatron X? We don't know. There's a lot of more questions than there are answers here. And the sad thing about it all is we're probably going to learn all of this stuff and all of these answers when it shows up in retail. Hasbro has been really weird with the Transformers Cyberverse line in the past, where a lot of product, almost most of it to be honest, is discovered and learned about for the first time by the fans in retail. It's crazy when you look at the news of Cyberverse toys and how most stuff is found for the first time by fans, as if it's like back in the 90s in the pre-internet era, when that is the first time we learn about toys. But that being said, that's probably how we're going to learn more about this. IGN and a lot of the other websites don't really cover the news in relation to the Cyberverse line, so it's going to be up to the fans, or maybe an employee at a Walmart or a Target who's going to take a snap of a photo in the stock room in the back when this stuff shows up. That's how we learned about a lot of our deluxes, the whole like later deluxes that we got of like Starscream and Soundwave and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case here again. Now, last thing to talk about is another listing here. And this is the one that's more, I guess we'll call it open-ended. We don't know what this is going to be about, and it's a listing that says here, Transformers Project Jam at an MSRP price tag of $69.99 with an EA code of E8546. That's all we know. Now, before we jump into the speculations of like, oh, Project Jam, maybe this is Jam like, Armada and Hot Shot, because, Armada's anniversary is next year, and Jam was this, meme joke with Hot Shot back in the early 2000s before memes were even a thing. It could be one of many different things, or like is it Jam Project, the music group that did the Transformers animated opening? Is it, it could be a project of a whole bunch of people doing a jam session together and putting a product together that might be some cool amalgamation of a whole bunch of different Transformer stuff. What it really is, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but this is really based off of what's happened in the past, every time we've had a Transformers crossover, whether it be the Ghostbusters one, whether it be the Back to the Future one, the Maverick, which was with Top Gun, even that of the X-Men one, and the future one that's supposedly going to be Jurassic Park, we have always stuff that is, when it's leaked out initially, it's always Transformers Project and something. So like Transformers Project Rexy is going to be the T-Rex from the supposed Jurassic Park stuff. And again, all the past ones, whether it be Back to the Future, otherwise, they always had Project in front of it. So this is probably going to be related to yet another crossover product at $69.99. Now keep in mind that $69.99 price point, that's way above that of a leader class. So it's going to be a big product, whatever that is. The question is, what is that? I have one speculation. It could totally be wrong. It might just be a timing thing. But much like with the case of the Top Gun Maverick and the Top Gun 2 movie, and why they kind of really did that in a lot of ways, despite it's also, it's an 80s property, but we have a Space Jam movie coming out, and maybe it's related to that. I know that sounds crazy, a Space Jam crossover with Transformers, but considering all the stuff that we've seen thus far with the Transformer brand from crossovers that even predate the crossover line. We had Disney label where we had Mickey Mouse Transformers and Buzz Lightyear Transformers and Donald Duck Transformers. We had all kinds of weird crossovers with Hello Kitty. We had a crossover line with Star Wars and Marvel in large numbers. There was a lot of crazy stuff that Transformers has done in the past with different brands and doing crossovers with. When we got the Transformers crossovers line with the Ghostbusters and Evangelion, and that was in the Masterpiece stuff, that really then opened the door to then make a solid line with, again, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and everything that we have today. So I would not be surprised that maybe with this Space Jam crossover, we get some kind of Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny kind of figurine Transformer that's a basketball player, or some LeBron James kind of thing. Who knows? I mean, we already saw what they did with X-Men and how they had a very different kind of interpretation of what a Blackbird X-Men jet would transform into and how it would look. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some crazy off-the-wall weird alt mode transformation that turns into LeBron James or Bugs Bunny. That's just my take. I could totally be off base here, and it comes with a little basketball to kind of play along with the Top Gun Maverick with his volleyball. Who knows? Who knows? But $69.99, the price point is what really catches me, because that's a lot of money. And we haven't had a crossover yet of that price point at this point, unless you count, like, I guess, some of the large stuff with the Star Wars stuff back in the day. Or even the Japanese Millennium Falcon that they did at some point. So it's very interesting. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. Chime in. Let me know what you think this Project Jam thing is. And let me know what you think of this Cyberverse stuff. Because, I mean, at least we're getting our Dinobots. At least we're getting that much and a better dead end. That's the best I could take away from the news today, is we're getting a better dead end figure, and at least we know we're getting yet another Dinobot. The roll and combine and roll and transform stuff, I need to see more of it and understand what's going on. It probably might not be for me, but I mean, I like the Crash Combiners from RAD, so we'll see what happens. Anyways, let me know what you think, and we'll hopefully learn more information when we have our stream tomorrow, Saturday night, Transformers Slag live stream. See you then.